Hello to everyone, myself Prasant. So, we are in part 2 of the chapter Union and its Territory. So, let's begin. So, we will cover Article 2, Article 3, and Article 4 of Indian Constitution. So, here Article 2 empowers Parliament to admit into the Union of India any state or establish new states that were not in existence before. So Article 2 talks about external modification, very important, external modification, right? uh, let's move to the next slide. So Article 2 says that for the states which is not part of India, so we just discussed that it is for external modification, right? Now Article 3. So Article 3 is about internal modification within the territory of the country. So through this article, new state can be formed by separation of a territory. There can be increase in the area of any state. There can be decrease in the area of any state. There can be alteration in the boundaries of any state, and there can be alteration in the name of any state as well. So you need to know all these important points, all these provisions which are there in Article 3 for internal modification, right? Now when there is internal modification, obviously a bill needs to be passed. So with respect to the passage of that bill, there are two conditions which needs to be met. First is that bill needs prior recommendation of president, right? Before recommending the bill is referred to state legislature for expressing views within a specified period, right? It's clear. And here president is not bound by the views of state, right? So this statement 2 is clear, I guess. Now the other condition is that further it is not necessary to make fresh reference every time an amendment to bill is done. So if amendment or any change to the bill is done, then it's not necessary to make the reference again and again. And in case of union territory, no reference is needed. So here we saw these two conditions. So these two conditions were for state only, right? It was not for union territory. Here it is saying clearly that in case of union territory, no reference is needed. Reference is only for state. So these two conditions are applicable for state only, state legislature only. Hence territorial integrity or continued existence of any state is not guaranteed by constitution. So obviously in internal modification in Article 3 we have just seen it clearly that any change can be made to the state, right? Now here there is an important thing to note, that amendment under Article 3 and Article 4 are not considered amendment of Constitution under Article 368. So if there is any change in Article 3 or any change in Article 4, that does not amount to Constitutional Amendment Act. That thing has been specified by Article 368, right? Thus it can be passed by simple majority and by ordinary legislative process. So obviously if it's not a constitutional amendment bill, then it can be passed through ordinary bill, right? It can be passed through ordinary legislative process. Now here we need to note that India is called indestructible union of destructible states. So obviously we just saw in Article 3 that states can be states boundaries can be changed, states name can be changed, states any territory can be separated to form a new state, right? So this shows the destructible nature of states, right, in India. And this is not the case in US, right? In US it's called that indestructible union of indestructible states. States cannot be can states boundaries cannot be changed. State territory cannot be separated, right? States territory size cannot be increased or decreased. That is why indestructible states nature is there in USA, right? So you need to know the difference, right? Here it's destructible states, here it's indestructible states. Now Article 4, it says that laws made under Article 2 and Article 3 will provide amendment to first and fourth schedule of the Constitution. So if change is done to Article 2, Article 3, obviously changes will be there in first and fourth schedule. Since first schedule is about union, states and territory, and fourth schedule is about allocation of seats to Rajya Sabha, so obviously there will be change in these schedules, right? So I guess I have covered all the important points from Article 1 to Article 4, which is in part 1 of Indian Constitution, which is union and its territory. So thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed and learned from this video. So thank you again. Thank you so much.